And now we will learn how to track time using time slips. Time slips are not transactions. They are records of events that will affect future transactions, and they have their own separate set of reports. For time tracking, the two best reports are the time by name report and the time by job, both summary and detail. But in this video, we will focus on the time by job detail. Let's take a moment and put these reports up in the icon bar. From the main menu, click Reports, Jobs, Time and Mileage, and go down to Time by Name. Make sure the top left date pull-down choice says A for all to show the results of all time slips regardless of date. Now, to save it to the icon bar, click View, add Time by Name to the icon bar, and click OK. Now, let's do the other one and modify it to our needs. From the main menu, click Reports, Jobs, Time and Mileage, Time by Job Detail. Of course, we have to push A for all, but we should also modify the report to add a column for the notes that one would normally write down on a time slip. In the top left, we click Customize Report, and then make sure that in the Modify Report window, it is the Display tab that is selected and brought forward. Then we can scroll down to where it says Notes and click a check mark in the left margin of the row that says Notes. After we click OK, we can see that notes have been added, or a column for notes have been added to the report, and we can click in the top right and drag it over to make the notes column wider so we can see all of the notes that we write down on the time slip. Now that it looks the way we need it to look, we can save it to the icon bar. Click View, add Time by Job Detail to the icon bar, and click OK. Now you may well ask, what information is on a time slip? Well, of course you have to put the date the worker worked, you have to put the name of the worker, and of course you need to know which customer or job the worker worked for so that you can track the hours by job. Of course, you have to put on the time slip the amount of time that your worker was on that particular job. Now, the notes are very important. In my experience, most contractors need to write extensive notes to describe exactly what work was done by the employee or the subcontractor when they were sent to our client. So take your time and describe everything you need. One last but very important thing that you must remember when filling out a time slip: you must choose a service item if you mark the worker's time as billable. If you want to bill a client for the time, you have to choose one of the service items on your list and put it here and tell QuickBooks what service this worker did. Now, in order to accomplish this, you have to make a service item for worker hours and add the worker hours service item to the list in the items list. We will choose or make an income account to track the worker's income from billable worker hours. We will make an account called Income from Billed Time. And we will make a service item on the items list called Billable Staff Time. Now, because we're advanced, we can make them both at the same time. We can click List, Item List, then go to the bottom left and click Item, New. Of course, it's a service item. Let's confirm the name. Actually, Billable Staff Time is the name of the item. So we'll type in Billable Staff time. Now, we'll leave the rate blank so we can charge a different rate each time. And what account will it be associated with? Well, it says income from billed time, which we can create right now. We click the account, scroll all the way up to click Add New. Notice QuickBooks knows it's an income account, and we will call it Income from Billed Time. And then we click Save and Close to save the income account, and then click OK to save the new item on the items list. Now we're ready to bill a client for time that our staff worked on their job. And now let's enter some time slips. How about we imagine on April 10, Sharon the worker did 8 hours for the Hanson Place job, and it's not billable. From the main menu, we click Customers, Enter Time, Time Enter Single Activity. Of course, the date we bring forward to April 10 of 2017. The worker is Sharon the worker. The customer job is the Hanson Place job. Now, we will not put a service item because this is not billable, but she did work 8 hours, and we do need to know that, and you should always write some notes. Wow, this was a difficult job, or whatever information you think is relevant to record about the event on April 10. When we click Save and Close, we can check the results in the reports. We click Time by Name, and we see that Sharon the worker worked on the Brown job and of course at Hanson Place, and of course every future job that Sharon works will be listed here under Sharon the worker. We can always get a summary by clicking this triangle and getting the total hours. What about this report, Time by Job Detail? Notice the job name is listed first, and the worker's name is listed in the detail down here. But the most important thing to notice about this is the notes column that we added, so you could always see the detail about what happened for that particular worker for that particular job. Now let's record this time slip. April 11. Ben the worker did 6 hours for the Kirschbaum Southwoods Road job, and it's billable to Kirschbaum. Again, from the main menu, click Customers, Enter Time, Time Enter Single Activity. The date was April 11th. The name was Ben the worker. The job was the Kirschbaum, specifically the Southwoods Road job. Now, he did 6 hours, but in this case, we do have to choose a service item, and the service item is billable staff time. Don't forget to click the check mark to make this time slip billable. When we click Save and Close, we can see on the Time by Name report all of the jobs that Ben the worker worked, all of the jobs that Sharon the worker worked, and you could always click the triangle and collapse it to get a summary of all the hours that Ben worked and all the hours that Sharon worked. On the Time by Job Detail, you can see that we actually forgot to write notes into the time slip for Ben, because here are all the workers that worked under Brown Company, here are all the workers that worked under the Southwoods Road job, and in this case there's only one each. But we can always double click right on the line and go back to the time slip itself and write, wow, Southwoods Road is really far, or whatever relevant information you think is important to write down about the 6-hour event that Ben did on April 11th. And now we can ignore the spelling and see that you now have the notes which explains the detail of this particular event. Now that we did what's necessary and put a billable item in the time slip, Now we can bill Kirschbaum for Ben's hours. So on April 12th, we billed Kirschbaum for the Southwoods Road job for the April 11th time worked by Ben. And of course, we get $33 per hour when a worker goes out to work on our behalf. We open the invoice window from the icon bar and we move the date forward to April 12th. We choose the Kirschbaum Southwoods Road job. Now, there is an open estimate for that job, and we could choose it and put in the percent we completed. But you don't have to always choose the estimate, especially if this is something unexpected. So we won't waste time. We'll click Cancel, and we'll go directly to Billable Time and Cost. We'll click OK, and notice we now have one item of time listed here for Ben the worker for this particular job. So we will click the check mark in the left corner, and then we will click OK. Now, you're getting a warning message warning you not to put this item twice on a bill. And I will explain this warning message a little bit better in about 2 minutes. But right now, let's just finish up this transaction. Click OK, and notice the billable hours have been added to the invoice. Even if we use the estimate and the invoice was populated with other items, this would simply be added to the bottom. Notice the quantity is 6, and it explains what the item is. You can stretch it out a bit. And we have to decide how much per hour. And the instructions say our staff gets billed out at the rate of $33 an hour. So we push 33 and we push Tab. Now after we click Save and Close, don't worry about this default. After we click Save and Close and ignore all the spelling suggestions, it asks us if we want to use our credits against this invoice. In this case, no. Now, when we check the profit and loss by job for the Southwoods Road Kirschbaum, you can see income from billed time shows up for the first time in this job in the amount of $33 per hour times 6 hours. So here's the new income that we earned, and here's the job we earned it from. Now you have to be careful when the Choose Billable Time and Cost window opens up. You have to make sure that the item that you're selecting of time is not duplicated and also here in the items list. That's because very often our workers are subcontractors that we send out on a job. And the subcontractor sometimes sends us a bill or we write a check payable directly to the subcontractor. If we recorded that bill or that check by marking that work as billable, then it's very possible that that same work might be listed here in the Items tab as well as the Time tab for the time slip. So you have to double check to make sure that the very same service is not being billed to the client both as an item when we clicked the check mark when we entered the bill or the check, as well as a time item when we put it on the time slip. You don't want to double bill your client, so take a look at both tabs before you choose the item when you put it on an invoice.